Welcome to MTN Outdoors.
Summer is here, and that means parents are going to need some things for their kids to do. How about summer camps? How about a way for them to chill out, to cool off in the water? And then, hitting the trails, you're going to need to know the best etiquette to keep Montana preserved. For MTN Outdoors, I'm Keith Grevenitz.
Looking for a way to get your kids off the couch and out of the house this summer? Well, Great Falls is packed with summer camp options for every kind of kid, from budding artists to young athletes and adventurers. Here's a look at some of the top camps happening around town.
I think it's really important for our young people, especially our young artists, to really get a chance to expand their creativity during the summertime.
The lower halls of the Paris Gibson Square Museum are lined with drawings, pottery, and empty classrooms, itching to welcome kids for their upcoming summer camps.
Yeah, the camps have been running for a lot of years. They're generally really popular. We have a lot of kids.
This year's theme is Arts Through the Decades, and spots are filling up fast.
You know, it's really cool. They get to take things home to mom and dad at the end of the week and really feel accomplished about the art they've created here. And it's just a really nice space for them to be able to create and do something fun during the summer.
The Paris Gibson Square isn't the only organization getting ready to host kids through the summer.
This will be our first full summer in this building.
For most summer camps, engagement is the name of the game, and at the Shields Aim High Big Sky Summer Camp, letting kids be kids is exactly what they aim to do.
We've got a lot of organized activities. We've got a lot of organized events, getting them out and about, getting them socialized so that they're not on screens. We don't allow screen time. All of our activities are really very engaging and involved for the kids.
From swimming, games, and field trips, Shields Aim High Big Sky emphasizes time away from the screen and getting back to what summer is all about.
The kids that we're raising today are very much similar to the kids that we were raising 20 years ago. They need people to show them how to enjoy the outdoors and how to enjoy all the activities that we got to enjoy as kids.
In Great Falls, Brianna Juneau, MTN News.
Just 1 week out from the start of summer, with that, the city pools, including the Electric City Water Park, will be opening soon.
Seasonally, it's very fun. We do try to have a balance between responsibilities and fun, but you grow a lot during the season, you gain new skills, and you're doing something important.
According to the city, they are still needing some more lifeguards, but as of right now, they have enough to open for the season.
It's my first season, and we've done a lot of preparation throughout the year, and I'm just excited to get open and finally have people around here to fill the pools.
The water park will have the classic lazy pool, slides, and big pool, but there are some changes and new things this summer as well.
New at the Electric City Water Park, we have this beautiful splash pad behind me. This was paid for with Community Development Block Grant funds. So this is replacing the prior baby pool.
With Montana's hot summers, the city is reminding people to wear sunscreen and stay hydrated while swimming and recreating at the water park.
A lot of people come out, it's their first time in the sun. They don't wear sunscreen. They think, oh, I'm going to get a tan. We get a lot of heat stroke and heat exhaustion. So we just want to make sure people are prepared for that. We have water, we have cooling stations.
In Montana, we have very limited amount of good weather, so soak it up while you can.
The Electric City Water Park's official opening day is next Friday, June 6th. In Great Falls, I'm McKenna Dickey with MTN News.
Keith Grevenitz, MTN News, out here to tell you about a little caveat with mountain biking trails. That's to stay on trail, because we need to make sure we're conserving these lands. That's the message coming from the City of Helena's Open Lands Department. I caught up with Open Lands Assistant Manager Tyler Woke while he was fixing up the Beatty Trail.
We were getting a lot of trail braiding, which is social trails where people are cutting the switchbacks. This causes a fair amount of resource damage. If you could imagine an area that just had a spaghetti bowl of trails going all over the place, it's not going to be very pretty. And part of our job is to protect the resource.
Mountain bikers seem to be on board with keeping things pristine while having fun.
My favorite part about riding in Montana is that it's 5 minutes from downtown. Not a lot of places left like this, so.
Speaking of minutes from downtown, there is a service run by a fun couple that makes sure bikers and hikers can get to the trails.
We at Shred MT Shuttles are a bike hike shuttle where we bring people together, pick people up downtown Montana, which is important, and then bring people up to the trailheads where they can bike or hike.
Don't be fooled by the name Shred MT. The shuttle company is spreading the word about conservation.
We think keeping people on the trail is super important. It keeps high traffic areas low impact where you can continue to use this public lands.
Whatever the reason you get out,
This is just for the adrenaline, man.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think come have fun.
keep things in shape for everybody to enjoy. Reporting in Helena, Keith Grevenitz, MTN News. You're watching MTN Outdoors. We'll be right back.
We now return to MTN Outdoors.
Like we've said, with the warmer weather, a lot of animals are coming back. Some of those animals we need to protect, but some animals we need to protect ourselves from, even those that we're familiar with. Take a look at these stories.
Chris Spangen has 1,600 acres of beautiful land.
I just like trekking around out here too.
Her ranch west of Billings is the perfect place for her fast-paced life. Chris loves to fish, hunt, and raise animals.
That's right. I'm a fly angler and a bird hunter, and also do a little big game hunting.
But it was here on her ranch on a snowy Sunday morning in January when her life was literally flipped upside down.
It happened so fast. I'm not sure how it all started, but I ended up on the ground, face down, and looked for my phone.
On that fateful day, Chris was on her daily walk with her 3 English setters. Her eldest dog stepped into bison territory and the animal attacked.
At that point, I just laid there and I knew I better just not move at all. And just thinking, what do you do if a grizzly bear attacks you? You play dead. So I figured I better just play dead.
After the attack, Chris tried to crawl away but was attacked yet again by 2 bison. She was left with broken ribs, broken vertebrae, a split lip, a gash on her leg, and a dislocated shoulder. Chris was transported here to the Intermountain Health Emergency Department, where she encountered quite a few familiar faces.
And I remember Barry going, "Hey Chris, it's Barry."
Chris was rushed into surgery, operated on by her former colleague, Dr. Barry McKenzie.
I have to admit, there was definitely a little bit more pressure to be able to go with that, and she added her comments too.
And believe it or not, Dr. Spangen even shared her own opinions about how to perform the surgery before being given anesthesia. Regardless, it worked.
It's very important to feel comfortable with your caregivers, which I did.
Chris credits collaboration from the team at St. Vincent's with her recovery. Because of the severity of her injuries, getting back to full health is easier said than done.
It takes longer than you think.
But Dr. Spangen is just happy to be alive, back on the road to recovery.
That's why we do what we do, to try to get you back to your life after probably one of the worst things, if not the worst thing that is probably going to happen to you.
In Yellowstone County, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
I've gone around and done a lot of different things and stuff, but I've never been away from the ranch very long.
At 73, Carl Rappold has ranched west of Depuyer most of his life.
I always come back here because this is home and it means everything to me.
It's hard work.
There's no relaxing days when you're on the ranch, you're fighting Mother Nature all the time.
Made even tougher by an ever-increasing spread of predators over the last several decades.
We've got everything that's got teeth and claws. I mean, mountain lions, wolves, grizzly bears, black bears. Even the eagles are starting to grab a few baby calves now.
It's a lot to handle on your own.
I enjoyed every bit of it.
Which is where the USDA's Wildlife Services with specialists like Mike Hogan come in.
Mike was the type of person that you could trust him, whether he was working for the U.S. government or what. When Mike told you something, he was going to do it. I don't think anybody dealt with what I dealt with up here.
Mike's career started in 1978 on a Nevada sheep ranch.
While I was there, I experienced firsthand, what coyotes do, and I met, the government trappers, this and that, and so that's what I wanted to do.
After 10 years of living in a sheep wagon, he eventually made his way to Valier, where in 1992 he became a wildlife service specialist.
I always thought that our agency, Wildlife Services, USDA Wildlife Services, did more for the recovery of the grizzly bear than anything.
Since retiring in 2020, Mike runs a sheep operation with his wife Maureen, but he also found time to put his experiences into a recently published book, Between Predator and Prey, 42 Years as a Government Hunter.
This book tells the story of Wildlife Services and one person that worked for them.
It's more than just a collection of funny and sometimes frightful stories.
You got it all. You got the grizzly bears, the mountain lions, the wolf.
And he says those predators often get a bad rap.
I guess in a way I worked for all these innocent grizzly bears that are not causing problems, trying to get that one that's doing it.
Reflecting on his career, Mike takes pride that he worked in a field not typical of most government jobs.
We kind of joked it was one of the few government programs that you drive in with a government pickup and you might have a little crack of a smile on your face that you're going to be there to help them,
A helping hand ranchers like Carl are thankful for.
He didn't become a government hunter or trapper to you. He became a friend, and whenever you needed help, Mike was here to help.
Near Valier, Tim McGonigal, MTN News.
While driving on these river roads, it's important to slow down so that you can do your part to protect the local wildlife. Bob Hedrick was on his weekly coffee run.
And I always make a run down here to the other side of the park, and then I come back this way in order to go home.
And while he loves to see the animals this time of year,
I kind of like it normally during the breeding season because you see them different sizes.
He was in for a disappointing surprise.
Found about 6 birds just on the ground.
As Bob stopped to help,
cars just whizzing by back and forth.
No one else slowed down.
Just being in a hurry.
Intentionally hitting an animal can result in major consequences.
To intentionally steer a vehicle in order to hit an animal or run over an animal would be considered a crime.
Dave Hagengruber is the Region 4 Communication Manager for Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
People start to encounter a lot more animals this time of year, these young animals.
Hagengruber explains that the best thing you can do, even if they appear injured or abandoned, is to leave them alone.
Don't pick them up, especially a fawn or any of those mammals. To pick them up and move them is really counterproductive.
If you're not sure what to do, you can call Fish, Wildlife, and Parks and ask for help.
Enjoy it. Watch them for a minute or two, take a picture if you want, but please don't pick them up.
Otherwise, just slow down and respect the nature around you.
Because I think it's a waste of life for people not to take care of what they're doing.
In Great Falls, I'm Tommy Lynch, MTN News.
Well, this mulga pine should be well over 10 feet tall by now, but Anaconda resident Chris Marchand says the urban deer just keep eating at it. And it's a problem a lot of people in the Smelter City are finding. And though the city has a plan to deal with the problem, it's still a divisive one.
Every vegetation, anything that they like, as far up as they can reach, there through the winter, they'll just eat everything.
Anaconda's Urban Wildlife Management Task Force recently voted 6-3 in favor of not culling deer or deliberately trapping and killing the animals in the city.
The mule deer population across the state of Montana has depleted so badly, and I see here we got this little group of deer. I think we should save them.
Those who voted against the non-lethal plan, like Marchand, said most of the deer in the city are sickly, and euthanizing them is the most humane thing to do.
Last year I had 3 deer that I found dead in my yard. One of them wasn't dead. It laid there for hours until it died.
Many citizens find the deer a menace.
They eat the trees. They just leave mess everywhere. I mean, they run right out in front of you. I mean, we need to do something about them.
Under the new plan, people are encouraged not to feed the deer.
We want to slow the traffic down, raise your bird feeders, if you can, fence your flowers, all kinds of little things.
Wyant estimates there's between 120 and 180 deer in town. He credits reclamation work that is revegetating the hills around Anaconda for moving some of the deer out.
They've located this food source, and like Smelter Hill, we've seen big piles of mule deer up there now, so we're hoping they'll drift out of town.
In Anaconda, John Amy, MTN News.
You're watching MTN Outdoors. Stay tuned for more Montana magic.
We now return to MTN Outdoors.
With the seasonal changes, you've probably been doing some yard work, some gardening, some mowing the lawn, and that's something we have to keep up on. And as you see behind me, there is some watering going on. Now, we always have to keep an eye on these lands and make sure they are maintained. Take a look at these stories.
Cruising around Holter Lake, Rocky Infanger can point out areas where fires happened years ago.
Beartooth fire in 1990 that burnt like 40,000 acres, and then there was the Meriwether fire.
Infanger is the fire chief for the Wolf Creek Craig Fire Service area.
You got one thing, and that's to save lives and property.
There are around 150 structures on the Beartooth road side of the lake, and the other side, with no road access, has nearly 100 structures. Now, how they fight these fires is not necessarily different. It's the timing of it all, from when they get to here and then out to where they need to go, that makes the biggest impact.
We need to get people to the boats. We need to get them on the boats. We need to get the boats across the lake. Once we get there, and it's probably about 15 minutes to 20 to get across the lake to where these structures are.
The fire service has 2 boats with pumps that use lake water for fighting fires. They also have portable water and foam pumps. One boat is in the water at all times, from Memorial Day to about the middle of September, while the other is stored near the lake.
The one boat will pump up to 350 gallons per minute, the other one about 250 gallons per minute.
The area around Holter Lake has a variety of jurisdictions, including private properties, Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, and the Bureau of Land Management. While certain areas might be the responsibility of specific agencies, they'll work together if need be, whether it's by truck, boat, or helicopter.
One goal in mind, that's to stop whatever's happening, get it contained.
Infanger says the best way for folks with no road access to keep their loved ones and property safe during a fire is to take action now.
Waiting until something happens is not the time. You need to be prepared. You need to have a plan. You need to know what you're going to do. Most people live along the lakes think, well, there's all this water. It's not a problem, and it can be a problem.
In Wolf Creek, I'm Allie Kaiser, MTN News.
It's sat here in Gibson Park since 2002. But most drive by,
I know I've read the signs before,
knowing very little about this important piece of Great Falls history.
but I can't say offhand that I remember.
Candace Herring has lived in Great Falls her whole life and knows of the Vinegar Jones cabin,
When my kids were little, I'd take them around the walking path.
but not much else.
It kind of just seems more like it's there. It's not really eye-catching or curiously compelling.
Built in 1884, the Vinegar Jones cabin holds a lot of history for Great Falls within its 4 walls.
Great Falls Cascade County Historic Preservation Commission has each spring had a cleanup.
Local historian Ken Robeson and some family members came out on Wednesday.
It's pretty easy to take care of.
Their plan?
Dust and sweep and then mop.
Prepare it for the summer months.
We'd get it done in a few hours each spring and then open it to the public during the band concerts.
The cabin is considered to be the only original building from the town side of Great Falls, moved here from its original location at 5th Avenue and 5th Street South 23 years ago.
It's actually pretty unusual for a town or a city to have its very first permanent building.
The cabin was once home to Whitman Gibson Jones, nicknamed Vinegar because he built and operated a vinegar factory. Jones was the first cousin of Paris Gibson, the founder of Great Falls.
It's the very beginning of Great Falls, the town site that's turned into a city.
The modest cabin, now a time capsule into the American past. So much more than just an old building.
It's pretty cool to have his old cabin open to the public. So.
In Great Falls, I'm Tommy Lynch, MTN News.
This giant boulder has been a giant pain in the neck for Butte's Department of Transportation crew, who have spent the past several weeks trying to break it apart. But now they're using a new technique that they're confident will bust this bad boy up.
This one is way bigger than we can handle.
The boulder fell onto the side of the westbound lane of I-90 on Homestake Pass near Butte earlier this year. The dump truck-sized boulder proved too hard to break apart.
We rented an excavator with a jackhammer attachment on it. It ruined the point. It's hard.
The crew decided on a technique called Boulder Buster, which involves drilling deep holes into the rock and splitting it with a controlled explosion.
I'm confident it'll be gone this afternoon.
The boulder busting technique works by the crews putting 4 of these shells into the water-filled hole that they drilled into the boulder. Then they'll use a primer to set these shells off, and the hydraulic pressure from that blast will hopefully split the boulder.
It's the water pressure that blows the rock apart. And with this, you don't need a blasting license. So it's really easy for us to now, if this happens again, take care of the situation a lot quicker.
The first blast was a success.
Did exactly what we wanted. Broke it in half. Now we'll break it, these each half in half. We'll be in good shape.
It took 5 more blasts, but the boulder was finally broken down into pieces that could easily be moved off the highway. Traffic was stopped on both lanes of the highway temporarily while they were doing the blasting. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.